Hi Pilgrims, Annie here, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about food, and we're going to start with breakfast, which in Spanish is desayuno. Desayuno. Um, Many of the places that we're staying will offer breakfast. It may or may not be included in the price of your lodging. If I stayed there before and I know that the breakfast is good, I'll tell you. If I know that the breakfast isn't good, I'll tell you. Otherwise, the choice is yours. Um, In Spain, breakfast is not the same breakfast that we're used to here in the United States. In Spain, they get up early, usually, and have a cup of coffee and a piece of bread. And bread comes in the form of usually what they call tostada, which is just toast. We call it toast. It's not the sliced bread you're used to, and in fact, I can't eat wheat in the United States because they spray it with bromine, and even the organic wheat sometimes gives me a problem, but I can eat all the wheat I want in Spain because they have these wonderful bakeries. They get up every morning and make fresh bread. There are no preservatives in the bread, and so if you pick up a loaf of fresh bread today, and it probably won't cost you, it'll cost you somewhere between 50 cents and $1.50. The bread probably will be stale tomorrow. It doesn't have preservatives in it. So it's really fresh, really good for you, but you need to eat it because it won't last more than a day or two. Anyway, they'll slice that bread, and the bread comes in a form of probably what we would call a baguette. And the baguettes can be anywhere from very small to very large, and they vary in price according to the size. Also, there's different types of bread, and you'll get to know the more artesian breads are more expensive. Just the plain bread, like I said, can cost 50 cents for a small loaf like this, or 89 cents for something larger. And please know when I say cents and dollars, I'm thinking of euro cents, right? Not euros, not dollars, US dollars. So breakfast, first breakfast is usually a cup of coffee, nice coffee, and some type of bread. The bread will be served with cheese or butter or margarine and often jam. If those things aren't served with it, you can ask for it, but usually if you get toast, they'll give you butter and jam. In southern Spain, they have something called calora, which is basically lard with seasonings in it. And I know that doesn't sound good, but oh my gosh, it is so good and so flavorful. But anyway, I don't think that will be anywhere where they serve that. So you'll get butter and jam. Later in the day, if you're still hungry, then you can pick up something more substantial. Generally, I start out walking. I walk maybe half an hour or an hour and stop at the next bar. And again, a bar is different in Spain. Here in the United States, a bar is a place where people go to drink and children aren't invited. In Spain, a bar is like a cafe. Yes, you can sit up at the bar and get a beer, but you can also take your children in and eat a meal, either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So when I say bar, you're going to have to change your thinking from the bar that you're used to cafe. They'll stop at a bar and have a coffee, maybe a roll to eat or bread, and then later down the road, maybe an hour and a half, I'll stop again and have a more substantial breakfast. And a more substantial breakfast, like I said, is not bacon and eggs. It is probably something called tortilla. And tortilla is not the tortilla you're used to, but it's more like a frittata. A slice of frittata or tortilla, and often I'll get a zumo fresca, which is a fresh squeezed orange juice, and they literally squeeze it right there in front of you. Most of the bars have machines, and they just drop the oranges in, and it'll squeeze your fresh orange juice into your glass, and oh my gosh, it's so good, and it's a little spendy, but it'll get you down the road. If you want more to eat than that for breakfast, then you'll have to carry food in your backpack, and there are a lot of foods that you can carry, and I'm going to show you some photos here in a few minutes of some of the things that travel well, but I'll tell you about those now. There are many cured meats that are very good to carry in your backpack, and also cheeses, and you need to be careful that your cheeses that you pick up to carry in the backpack are cured cheese. They'll be semi-curado or curado. If they're curado or dried, they'll travel well in your backpack. Soft cheeses won't travel well and you'll get sick. Your cheese will go bad and you'll get sick. So don't carry soft cheeses. There is a cheese that comes, it's called Laughing Cow. We have it here in the United States, and it comes in little squares that are covered in foil. And I've carried those for as much as a week, and they don't go bad. I think there's so many preservatives in those that they don't go bad. So you can carry Laughing Cow cheese. There's membrillo, and membrillo is a quince jam that's cooked until it's very thick, and it's not soft like jam. You can slice it, and it's very good with cheese on bread for breakfast. There are places where you can get churros and chocolate, and churros are like long fried donuts, and then you dip them in chocolate, but the chocolate is more like a pudding. It's a thick pudding, so don't expect a cup of hot chocolate to dip. You're going to be dipping it in very sweet chocolate pudding, which can almost be too much for me. Other things for breakfast, the pastries are just awesome in Spain. They're just wonderful, and they're very affordable. And you're walking so much that I lose weight even when I do eat pastries every morning. The Spanish hotels don't usually have a kettle or a coffee maker in the room, so if you have to have your coffee or you have to have your hot tea first thing in the morning, you may want to pick up one of those little immersion heaters and bring along a cup so you can make your own in the morning. They have some very good little packets of coffee that you can buy, single servings. They're a lot like the Via that you get in Starbucks. In fact, sometimes I do pick up Via to take with me from Starbucks if I'm in a coffee drinking mood. I'm looking at my notes right now. Bocadillos. You're going to get tired of bocadillos. A bocadillo is what we would call a poor boy sandwich. Okay, it's a baguette cut in half. It's got very thin but very savory meat, then cheese, and then the lid. That's it. They don't put mayonnaise and mustard on it. They don't put lettuce and tomato on it. It's meat, cheese, and bread. You can also get a tortilla bocadillo or fish bocadillo sometimes, where there's fried fish inside, or there's some of the tortilla, which is, like I said, it's almost like a pie made out of eggs and cheese and onions and sometimes other vegetables, and that's very good. So you can get bocadillos, but you're going to get tired of bocadillos because you'll find them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner almost everywhere. Things you can carry in your backpack also include yogurt. You can buy yogurt very cheaply. You can get like 4 to 6 little yogurt servings for €1 or €2. You can get rice pudding that travels well for 1 day or 2. I wouldn't carry it more than that. Fruit and vegetables. There are a lot of fresh fruit and vegetable stands all over Spain and all along the Camino. And if you're a vegetarian, don't worry too much. You'll find plenty to eat. You do need to be careful if you're ordering vegetable soup, because probably it has a beef or a fish or a pork or a chicken base. So even though it's a vegetable soup, it's going to have meat base in it. And so if you're a strict vegetarian, you're going to want to pay attention. It's really inexpensive. In the places where we stay, where there are kitchens, it's really inexpensive to pick up a half a dozen eggs and boil them, and you can make sandwiches out of those. You can get packages of olives for like 59 cents to carry in your backpack, and you can also buy them in little cans, which hold about enough for 2 or 3 people in a serving. And they have pop tops. You don't need to carry a can opener. So those are some of the things that you can buy for breakfast. I usually give myself €3 to €5 a day for breakfast, and that includes my coffee in the morning and then whatever I want to eat later on. I tend to picnic a lot because I can really save money doing that. So those are some of the things you might want to have for breakfast. And now I'm going to stop this video because someone's coming into the house and they're a little noisy, and I'm going to show you some photos. See you later. You're not going to go hungry, that's for sure. There's plenty to eat along the Camino. Breakfast in a hotel would be what we would consider a continental breakfast, but you have lots of other choices to buy on your own, either in restaurants or in bars or in tiendas. And we'll talk about shopping later. That'll be another video. For now, I'm getting hungry after looking at all these great photos, so I'm going to go have myself some dinner, and I'll talk to you more later. Buen camino.